O's. The overpriced option on the left actually lost money. Think about that. The buyer got direction right and they still lost money. Whereas that buyer on the right got what, a 400% return on his investment? Why did the buyer on the left lose? It's because the premium was priced too high. They didn't pay attention to volatility. They paid way too much. Now, that's a disadvantage to a buyer, but as a seller, that's even better. I love selling expensive things. Extremely overpriced things is the way I look at it, right? If I got a car and that car stickers for 40 grand, I would sell it all day for 75 if I could. Well, that's what we're doing with options. We're finding those overpriced, extremely high options and we're going to sell them because that allows us to make more money. And it also, because those premiums are so high, it allows us to trade with a higher degree of probability and it minimizes the dollar risk on the trade. When you lose, you're going to lose some money. But by selling these expensive options, your losses are actually a lot less. Okay? You're stacking probability even more. Now, Bob has one of the most interesting stories I've seen. He said prior to working with us, he was making a bunch of the mistakes we talk about, and it really cost him dearly. In fact, he ended up either broke or bankrupt 3 times. In his own words, came close to living under a bridge. The options paycheck system helped Bob turn his situation around in as little as 4 months. He turned those mistake liabilities into strategies to control and stack probability. In 4 months, he said he grew his account by 71% and achieved a 79% winning trade percentage. Remember, if you want to do this, you need to learn and control, stack that probability in your favor, becoming an option seller. Now, let me ask you a question. Type in the chat window. Have any of you ever made these types of buyer's mistakes? All right, let's take a look here. Yes, Greg, Kurt, or Rick, yes, Flo. Yeah, I mean, we've all made those mistakes. Like I told you, that was one of the reasons why I didn't like trading options when I first started. Listen, it's not our fault. We were ultimately just taught a broken system. Now, let's move on to risk. Now that you hopefully want to be an option seller, we need to learn how to trade with very little risk. When a lot of people hear the word options, and especially the term selling options, they think it's risky. However, our paycheck system uses a low risk strategy for selling options. And that's why it's a core strategy we would teach for our retirees. Now, why is reducing risk so important? Most people who don't use the options paycheck system, they're not preserving their capital. Now, this is kind of like the horror story that I always hear about selling options. And I hear it too many times, honestly. You know, Ron, I did this once in the past, or I have a buddy that did this, and you were right, man. He made 35 successful trades in a row. And then one trade came in and wiped out all the gains. That's scary. That is scary, I'll be honest with you. I've never actually experienced that, but it sounds pretty darn scary to me too. Now, why have I never experienced that? It's not because I'm like the best trader in the country. I like to think I'm pretty good. However, one of the reasons that I was really drawn to options, and this goes all the way back to one of my first slides when I talked about that gentleman that came that was the hedge fund trader. One of the reasons that I really was drawn to options was because he said you can know your risk up front. The worst that can happen to you is known. It's not like when I bought commodities, and if there was something crazy that happened, there could be a limit down or a limit up based on news. I had no idea what my max loss could be. I had a stop in place, but you never know. When I do my options trades, I have a fixed maximum risk known up front. So if I look at a trading opportunity and my gain is going to be $1,000, but that trade may cost me $10,000 if it goes against me, I walk away. I don't take the trade. It's as simple as that. This has never happened to me because I would never put myself in a position where it could. It's as simple as that. You know the risk up front. Because if this happens to you, it's really hard to regain. You got a big uphill climb to recover your losses. So to control that risk, when you do it right, you have to have a built-in protection plan. You're going to take care of risk management before you even open the trade. That is going to allow you to do your first job as a trader or investor. Preserve your capital. If you preserve your capital, it becomes much, much easier to grow your capital. Like I said earlier, home runs look good, but singles are what win the games. Now, one of the common questions I get is, can I trade these things from an IRA? And the answer is yes, you can, as long as your IRA supports it. I actually trade an S&P trade in my IRA every week. A client of ours, John, he grew his IRA over 112% in 1 year using our paycheck system. He said he had tried and struggled trading for some time before working with us. He learned to follow the system, and he turned his inconsistent results into predictable monthly income. In 12 months, he said he had 85% winning trades, which is awesome, and more than double the size of his IRA. Now, again, John's word, he spends no more than 15 minutes per day on his trading. That's it. Now, the options paycheck system makes sure you reduce your risk even before you open the trade. First, we choose stocks that are low risk. We have a very specific criteria, but in general, if we're bullish, we focus on something that looks like this, already rising in price, similar to what you see here. Then, and this is important, instead of selling an option what's called naked, we sell with protection. So let me show you how to do this. Traditional option selling systems leave you with all of this risk down here. And that risk goes beyond what you see. It goes all the way to zero. What we're going to do is we're going to squeeze that risk just to this amount right here. So let me show you how this works. This, again, is a graph of a typical stock you'd be bullish on. It's a beautiful graph, so it's understandable to be bullish on this. Traditionally, you'd go out and you'd buy the stock right here. Or maybe you're going to buy an option. Now you know not to buy those crazy strike prices way above. You're going to match your strike price to the stock price. But remember, for us, we're not the buyers anymore. We're the sellers. So here's what we have to do. We're going to go underneath the current stock price, and in a bullish market, we are going to sell a put. Now, when we sell that put, we're going to receive premium. In this case, $200 per contract. If I did this on 10 contracts, I would get paid $2,000. Now, I know that sounds pretty good. Oh my God, I just got paid $2,000. This is awesome. Easy. Well, there's a couple caveats to this. When you sell an option, you're selling a contract that you're going to perform an action. It's kind of like when you buy car insurance or homeowners insurance, right? Every 3 months, I don't really send a check anymore. That's like so 20 years ago. They debit my checking account for the amount of my premium, right? Now, over those next 3 months, if I don't have any claims, they keep the premium. And we were both happy. They got their money. I didn't have any claims, but I had protection. And we all walk away happy, and we just do it again and again and again and again and again, right? So when I sell an option, specifically when I sell a put, that contract that I am selling to someone says, if you want me to, I will buy the stock from you for $135. Now, the problem with that is this. What happens if the stock makes some dramatic move? All of a sudden, let's say this stock goes down to $50 a share or $35 a share and it's trading at $100. You may be forced to buy the stock for $135. Well, guess what? The stock's trading at $100. You know that one loss that wiped out all your winners? This is it. This can happen. Okay? But there's something that we can do about it. There's a couple things we can do about this, okay? First thing is, while we sell that option, we are going to simultaneously buy an option. And when we buy the option, it reduces our risk to just this amount. So, when I sell the option, I buy a put as insurance. Now, what that put that I buy allows me to do is it allows me to sell the stock. So, if for something terrible happens and this stock goes down to $100 a share, I now have the obligation to buy it at $135, and now I have the right to sell it to somebody else for $130. I've limited my max risk to $5. Now that insurance costs me something, as you can see, I have to pay $100 for it. But that means I'm still getting into this trade for $100. If I did it on 10 contracts, that would be $1,000. That's the most I can make on this trade. Now, before we go any further, I want to make something very clear. I've been trading options now for 15 plus years. Okay? What I just described to you has never actually happened to me. Never. I've never once had to use my insurance leg to do anything. When you do these trades, okay, we are going to exit the trade before that ever becomes a concern. Remember, this is a trade. We're trading something here. Just because it's an option, don't let that sway you. If I went out here and bought 100 shares of whatever this stock is, and it goes too far down, I can exit the position. See, a lot of people, when we start talking about options and I say it expires in 21 to 45 days, they think they're like locked into it for 21 to 45 days. That's not true. Options trade every day. I can trade or sell an option on Monday and then find somebody to take it off my hands 6 days later, 2 days later, 5 minutes later if I wanted to. We're going to manage this like any other trade. We're going to have a profit target and we're going to have a stop where we give up on the position. This is why in 15 plus years of doing this, I've never had to actually do a stock transaction. Now, what some people would ask at this point is, well, Ron, if you've never had to do the stock transaction, then why would you buy the insurance? Well, we buy the insurance. There's a lot of reasons actually why we buy the insurance. Number one, it reduces the cost to do this trade. You're getting paid, but you still have to put up a margin to do this. By buying insurance, it makes the trade a lot less expensive. I have to put up a lot less capital to do it. Second, that put that we buy as insurance acts as a small hedge. So if the position goes against me, that put that I buy is actually going to lower my risk. It protects me against volatility. There's a lot of great reasons why we buy that insurance, not just for the disaster insurance, if you will. So that's something we do on every trade. Now, what does that allow us to do? Well, we think the stock is going to go up, right? If the stock goes up, that option contract position that we sold for $1,000, that's going to gradually start to decline. As the stock goes up, I sold it for 1,000. It's still trading. Now it's worth 900, 800, 700, 600. I can get out of it later and I can pocket money. If the stock goes sideways, I still make money. And as long as it stays above 135, I still make money. Now, here's the kicker. If the trade falls below 135, I exit. That's my stop. I sold the 135 option. If the stock falls below 135, I exit the trade. Done. I take a small proportional loss. Now, I want to show you some trades that I took over the last couple of months. Okay? These are real trades that I took, and I want to talk about how we select the trades. So I'm going to be showing you some numbers now, so pay attention. Now, when the market is bullish, we are going to be placing bullish income trades. Here's an example. PHM, Pulte Home Group, was in a nice uptrend. It doesn't get much better than that for a stock moving up, man. I mean, that's beautiful. Over the course of like 9 months, the stock went from 40 to 76. This is exactly what I would want to do. So let's zoom in a little bit closer here. I'm going to go out and I am going to sell an option that expires in 21 to 45 days with the hope that I'm going to make money in 7 to 10. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily understand because they're not options traders. When I open up an option chain, whether it's in Thinkorswim or E-Trade or Interactive Brokers, all of these brokerage that do options either have a probability right next to the strike price or they have a probability calculator. So what I can look at and say is, all right, over the next 21 to 45 days, PHM has a 56% chance of staying above $75 a share. it has a 73% chance of staying above $73 a share. And it has a 91% chance of staying above $70 per share. So every option has a probability attached to it. This is how I select my option that I'm going to sell. Now, let me ask you a question. I know some of you in here know this because you've done this before, you've been to a class before. But for those of you that don't know, if I was going to approach you and say, hey, do you want to be 56% right on your trades, 73% right on your trade, or 91% right on your trade, which one would you pick? Be honest. Be honest with me. Type in the chat window. Would you rather be 56, 73, or 91% right on your trade? All right, exactly. Joe, you were first. So I'm going to take that as the first answer. Dacia, David, everybody's starting to say 91%. You're absolutely right. That is the right answer. Why would you not want to be 91% right, is what I would ask you. Well, here's the problem. To be 91% right, you may have a trade where you're going to make $100 every time you win. That sounds good, but your loss is going to be $1,500 when you lose. So what good is being 91% right if you're going to make $900 on 9 winners, but then lose $1,500 on that one loss? You're going to kill all of your gains with one bad trade. Probability is beautiful, but when it's too high, it creates these risk-reward scenarios. So what I'm going to do is I am generally going to sell an option around 60 to 70% probability. So in this case, I'm going to sell that option B. Well, Ron, why wouldn't you sell the one that gives you 56? 56 is still good, right? Well, yeah, 56 is still good, but why do 56 when I can do 73? Why would you not want to add more probability to this? Now, when I do those options in that 60 to 70% range, I have trades where I'm averaging, let's say, $200 a contract for every win, and I'm averaging maybe $225 on every loss. Now, that's something you got to get used to when you do options selling. Your losses, in a lot of cases, are going to be a little bit more than your gains, but you're baking in all of this probability is the key. Now, let me show you how this trade actually worked. This is called a bull put spread. Okay, a bull put spread. I'm going to sell that $73 put, and then I'm going to buy as insurance that $70 put in the same transaction. It's one transaction. It's bullish. It's a put spread. All right. What I want now is the stock to go up. However, if the stock goes sideways, I can still make money. But as long as it stays above $73, I still make money. So in this example, we only took 3 days. This can happen sometimes. Sometimes your trades are very quick if the stock moves right in your direction. Okay? The stock moved up. I made my $876, and I exited the trade in 3 trading days. Now, some of you might say, but Ron, what if the stock continues to go up? Aren't you leaving profits on the table? And the answer is no, I'm not. Because I would simply place another trade on PHM. Okay? I would simply place another trade on PHM. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example. Because these classes are real time, I have a little bit of freelance I can do. I want you guys to look at this stock, Estee Lauder. This is Estee Lauder. I want you guys to see how Estee Lauder has been trading all this year. I started trading Estee Lauder with the same concept back here around September. Okay? I exited my first trade on Estee Lauder probably 4 days into it. And I made like $750. But Ron, what if the stock went down more? No problem. I'll place another trade on Estee Lauder. It goes down more. I make another $750. But Ron, what if it keeps going down? Great. I place another trade. I make another $750. But Ron, what if it continues going down? Great. I place another trade and I make another $750. Okay? This is how you capitalize on more money. And by the way, this is real. I am now currently in my 4th trade on Estee Lauder since September 2nd. And I've profited on every one of them as the stock has continued to drop. Now, I'm hoping to make $750 on that last trade, because by the way, that's my average gain. When I trade, my average gain's right around 750. My average loss, right around 750. Now, I don't have my account open right now, but I'm looking at my position on Estee Lauder, and I'm up on this last position. I'm up around $600 right now. So hopefully in the next day or two, I can get my profits out of that position. But like I said, if the stock continues to go, we're just going to keep continuing to place trades on this thing. All right. And this is something we talk about in the options paycheck experience. Now, when the market is bearish, kind of like I showed you with Estee Lauder, we do bearish trades. Target is in an extended downtrend and it breaks below support. So let's zoom in closer. You win if target stays below the strike price you pick. Now, same thing like we did with Pulte. I'm going to look at my option chain and I'm going to see if I sell 135, I have a 64% chance. If I sell 140, I have a 76% chance. If I sell 145, I have an 85% chance. Now, let me ask you a question. Which option would you sell in this instance? A, B, or C? All right, David, Joe, you guys are both at B at 76%. And I see lots of B's. A couple of you guys are in A. Well, that's good because some of you guys are remembering when I said 60 to 70%, right? Well, here's the deal. All right. This trade was done on B. Now, if you would have said C, you would be correct. If you said B, you would be correct. Now, why in this trade was I able to sell a 76% option? What I do as an option seller, I pick the highest probability with an acceptable risk reward level. So if I can do a 76% option, I do it. If I can sell an option that gives me 85% chance and that risk reward is maintained, I do it. Maximum probability with the acceptable risk reward. Now, this trade is called a bear call spread. Why? Well, because it's something you do when you think a stock is bearish. You do it with calls now instead. And again, it's the same idea of a spread, two options in one transaction. I'm going to sell the 140 call, and I'm going to simultaneously buy the 145 as my protection. Now, this trade is a little bit more like normal. This trade took me 7 days to complete. And you can kind of see that when I put the trade on, the stock really didn't go down very much, but it did stay below 135. And in 7 trading days, I was able to take profits on that trade of around 765. And like I said, my average trade is right around 750 for my winners. My average loss is right around 750 as well. So that's pretty typical. All right. Another one of our clients is Jim. He said prior to working with me, he told me his results were inconsistent and he felt unsatisfied. He kept thinking there had to be something else out there that must be better. Have you ever felt that way? Like there's something more out there? He said he wanted a way to supplement what he was doing, but would provide more of a regular income with a higher probability of success. He said he learned the system, and he told me right off the bat he had 21 winners in a row and returned 76% in about 8 months. And his average trade only lasted about 8 days. Can you imagine how that must feel from being going inconsistent to where all of your trades are generating income? Now, let me ask you a question. That was Jim. What about you? What would an income system like this allow you to do? Give me some examples. Type them in the chat. Hey, if I made 3% per month on my investments, what would that allow you to do? First one I see, retire sooner. That's the goal. Retire sooner. Pay off my bills. There you go. Mine would be pay off my house sooner. That's one of the things that my goal is. Okay, travel more. Rick, support family. Okay, so that's what I would, those are valid things that we want to do. I can tell you that Bruce, that guy that I showed you earlier, he donates a lot of his profits to charity. Bruce is a great guy. Now, you've seen before that buying is gambling. Selling is how we control risk and put the odds of success in our favor. This is how we generate income. The options paycheck system makes sure you have a guaranteed maximum risk. And it all goes back to whether you'd be the gambler or the casino. Because keep in mind, the house always wins in the end. Being that option seller, that's the path of consistent income. It allows you to do it safer, right? Why is it safer? Because there's a maximum that you can lose. Why is there a higher probability of success? Because the stock doesn't have to go in your direction. We got room to be wrong. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how we can put this together and put it into a bulletproof system, which allows you to do this in as little as 15 minutes a day. Now, my students who have implemented this system have told me this is one of the most important things they've learned. Why is this important? Well, one of the biggest things people ask me is how much time is this going to take me? And it's a great question. Listen, there's a challenge. There's thousands of stocks out there that you can trade options on. You got to find the right one, pick the right stock, get the strategy right. When do you get in? What's the expiration? What price? What do you do if it goes against you? When do you get out with the gains? And people feel like it's trying to find a needle in a haystack because there's so much stuff out there you don't know where to look. You spend hours researching your trades, going from guru to guru, looking for advice. Without a system, you're trading blindly. You're like a mouse running through the maze, bumping into wall after wall. You don't know where to go. It's stressful. It's disheartening. But with the right system, you can identify good trades, get reliable income in as little as 15 minutes a day. But you need the right system, and not just any system, a straight line system, a really simple way to know when to place your trades, how to find them, how to set them up, and then how to manage them. So I'm going to walk you through the 6 pieces here of the options paycheck system. Nobody else teaches option selling this way. This is like the secret sauce. There's 6 pieces, the top 5 build on each other, and then the 6th kind of ties it all together. We start with market direction. A lot of traders just ignore this and they go out and start placing trades. You're going to be placing trades that are either bullish or bearish. So you have to have a way to know the market's direction. By doing this, you're narrowing your focus. So instead of looking at everything, you're only looking at one of 2 possible scenarios. Why do we do that? Because it stacks probability. 60% of a stock's direction is correlated to the overall market. We have a built-in signal that tells us when the market is bullish or bearish. Then, once we know the direction of the market, we're going to find stocks that are moving in the same direction. So just trading stocks that you know or what you hear on TV, that's not the best choice for this. What you want to do is find good stocks already in uptrends when the market's rising, bad stocks that are in downtrends when the market's falling. Now, the paycheck system saves a lot of time in 2 ways. We look at 2 main things, fundamentals and price trend. We have pre-built searches in VectorVest that we use instead of digging through all the data that those institutions throw at you. Now, once you have your list of stocks, you want a way to select the best ones for option trading. Earlier, we looked at how big of an effect volatility had on options price. We focus on selling options with volatility in the upper end of the range, but we don't stop there. To take even more risk out of the trade, we filter out those with upcoming earnings and make sure the expiration date is in that sweet spot. We avoid earnings because that's a huge move. Could you imagine if you were bearish on Netflix and then they had those great earnings and the stock was up $50 the next day? That's a problem. So we want to make sure we're never in the stock for an earnings announcement. Now, you can use tools from your broker from this. I happen to use a proprietary search tool which finds these types of candidates in a second. Now you got to set up your trade. We're going to pick the one that has the highest probability of success based on the strike price. Now, the most important is we have to manage that risk-reward ratio. So I'm going to sell the strike that has the highest probability, which maintains a profitable risk-reward ratio. Now that we found the trade, we need to know what to do if it goes for you or against you. I don't want you sitting in a trade feeling frozen like a deer in the headlights because you don't know what to do. Our paycheck system has rules to take profits at predefined levels. These can be set up in advance with your broker. And if a trade ever goes against you, we have a simple adjustment strategy that brings in more income to minimize losses. We also know when to exit the trade. And I can even set that order up in advance with my broker. Some brokers support this, like an IB or a Thinkorswim. So it happens automatically and unemotional for me. And then last, a way to do it quickly. You don't want to be spending all day in the process. So you need some tools that allow you to do these things. It should be something you're comfortable using. Now, brokers have great tools. Thinkorswim is a fantastic tool for this. Interactive Brokers has great tools. Fidelity has good tools. Schwab has good tools. E-Trade has good tools. A lot of brokers have really good tools for this. but you might find some paid tools to be effective. For example, I use our tool from VectorVest called Options Pro, and that saves me a lot of time. Now, earlier we talked about Mike and Jim, and they said that each of them is getting the results in about 15 minutes a day, and so is Hugh. Hugh actually told me one of his biggest struggles was finding a system that not only worked, but one that was efficient. He wanted that proper balance between trading and free time. He didn't have that proper work-life balance. Are you like that too? Do you spend too much time doing things you don't want to do and not enough time doing the things you want to? Now that Hugh has learned the options paycheck system of selling options, he said he has more confidence, more free time, and is able to have more fun. In his first 43 trades, he said he had 38 winners with 26 grand in profits in his first 4 months. Now, I want to do a little exercise with you. I want you to take your pen. I want you to put a little star next to the part of your system where you're good. So, for example, if you have a quick way to find a list of stocks likely to go in the direction of market, put a little star there. If there's an area where something isn't working or you need a little work, put a little frowny face there. So, for example, if you don't know how to manage, repair, trade, put a frown there. If you've never traded options before, probably everything from option selection down would be a frown. Don't overthink it. I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to give yourself a star or a frown. Now, I bet there's only 1 in 100 investors who will ever know this. Now, let me ask you a question. I want you to share with me in the chat window. What areas do you personally need to work on? Where are the areas that you need to focus your attention? First one I see is I've never traded options before. All right, then your options down. Now, I want to talk about that real quick while you guys are typing in your answers. Let me tell you something. I actually like teaching people from the ground floor. I'm going to give you guys an example. I love golf. If there was something I could do to forget everything I know about golf and start from the ground floor again, I would give almost anything. Not my family and stuff, but like, material possessions, because I would have so much more enjoyment out of it. But I can't do that. So if you're new at this and I can teach you from the ground floor, even better. And then David, you said all of them. Dacia, all risk management flow, all areas, Jerry, new to options trading. So relearn tools. Yeah, I've been humbled at golf. David tried Top Golf. I've never tried Top Golf, but I really want to do that at some point. I really do want to do that. Golf is crazy because it's one of those games where you like struggle for like 3 hours, and then the last 2 holes you're like a pro. And you're like, oh my god, I can't wait to get back to this again. It sucks you back in. I don't know. I love golf because it's one of the sports that I've always played that I've never been able to really master and be good and be great at. I can go around the course and shoot a mid 80, 85, 86, 87, but I just can't like pass that hump, and it's just like a struggle. Anyway. All right. Listen, I don't know the exact reason that you came to today's webinar, but I'm going to make a few educated guesses here. Maybe you don't really know what to do. You're feeling like you're trading blindly, bumping into one wall into the next. It's leaving you with inconsistent results. Maybe you make a little bit of money, but then you're giving it all back on your next few trades, just like Jim said he was doing. Maybe you're suffering from loss after loss, and those small losses are killing your portfolio. Money coming in, it's not exceeding the money going out. Maybe you're just not where you want to be. Now, today, I showed you the secrets to fixing that. And it's a secret, again, I bet only 1 in 100 investors will ever know, and now you're one of them. You've seen how it's possible to win even if you're wrong. You can do it with very little risk. And again, since you have that fixed risk, it's even less riskier than buying and selling stocks. You saw the system, that 6-step process of getting consistent income every month. Now, I showed you just a few of the many people who use the system every day. They never have to worry about their income again. You saw over and over the secret to generating consistent income is that shift from being the gambler to being the casino. Now, remember, you're going to be that one investor out of 100 who knows this secret. That means there's 99 other investors out there who will continue to do things wrong. They'll be buying options, making all the mistakes we talked about. We can't stop them from doing it. There's always going to be those investors out there who will buy options incorrectly. Let them be the gamblers. Because remember, as long as the gamblers are there, somebody needs to be the casino. Remember that old saying that the house always wins in the end? This system teaches you how to stack probability of success in your favor. Just like it taught Brian and Bruce and Bob and Jim and Hugh, John, Now, if you're like most, you're probably wondering, well, how do I implement this paycheck system in my portfolio? Well, now it comes down to a choice. Option number one is you can choose to do absolutely nothing and stay where you are. Now, if you already have enough money to retire and you're not really worried about it, then you might not need the system, and I salute you. But if you would like to make some extra income every month, that leaves you with two other options. You can try to do it alone, kind of like Mike did. Go read everything there is about options. Do some trial and error. If you want to put the time in there, spend hours doing this, take some losses, some gains, you might be able to find success with it. I'm not going to say it can't be done. It's just very difficult. But the third option is let us to guide you. I'll walk you through each piece of the paycheck system, and in just a few weeks, you'll have a simple system to follow, and that doesn't take a lot of time. Now, those three options, got to ask yourself, what's going to be easier? There's two types of people. Person number one is someone who dreams about their financial goals but never takes action or does anything to make it happen. Person number two is serious about their financial future. You're ready to take an action when you see a good opportunity in front of you. Now, since you're with me to this point, I'm willing to bet that you're person two, and that makes you the perfect candidate to get started on your first options paycheck. So let me tell you what we put together for you. The Options Paycheck Experience is the most comprehensive program for generating consistent income using option spreads, even if you've never traded options before. The Paycheck Experience is the only implementation program of its kind that teaches the secret to generating consistent income with options. It shows you exactly how to find, set up, and manage your option spreads to generate income, and how to do it safer and more consistently in any type of market condition so you never have that fear of running out of money. After going through the experience, you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work, along with all the fancy terms so you never have that fear of options. You're going to have clear signals telling you whether to place a bullish or a bearish trade and even when not to trade. You're going to be able to quickly identify stocks that are the best candidates for your income trades. We're going to use a rule-based approach, and this is going to free up a lot of time. You're going to set up income trades that give you a statistical 70+% success rate. You're going to have a trade management game plan in place prior to taking the trade. That way you know how to handle any situation the market throws at you. We're going to help you enter and exit trades with your broker, whether you've never done it before or you're a pro. Ultimately, we're going to implement a system that's going to help you safely and consistently generate income. Now, the course is 8 modules long, and we made them so each module builds on the one prior. As you go through the modules, you're getting closer and closer to that end goal, consistent income. We're going to stack probability all the way through this thing. Now, the first 2 modules are what we call the Options Income Foundation. Now, a lot of people try to build a successful income portfolio, but they base that portfolio on a weak foundation of knowledge. We understand what it's like to learn options for the first time. We've been there. That's why it pays to learn from a team who's gone through this before. The outcome that you're going to get in Module 1 is you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work so you can trade them and use them in your trades. You're going to know which terms to pay attention to, which terms that you can ignore. That way you're not wasting time learning things that are irrelevant. You're not going to get frustrated. Now in Module 2, you're going to learn how to trade the spreads. You're going to learn how they work. You're going to be filled with confidence to build your income system around these trades. Now that you've constructed that foundation of options knowledge, we're going to lay out the step-by-step plan to placing these income trades and generating income. Each step along the way stacks probability in your favor and it reduces risk. And it all starts with knowing when to trade. This is where you're going to get complete clarity on market trends. So instead of looking at all different trades, we're going to narrow our focus. We're either going to place bullish trades or bearish trades based on market behavior and sometimes not place trades at all. Now, you know the direction of the market. We're going to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction of the market. That's what Module 4 is about. This is going to stack probability even more in your favor. The outcome here is you're going to know how to quickly find the best stocks and indexes to trade that give you the highest probability. Now that you got your stocks, we're going to start narrowing it down to the best options candidates that give you the highest probability for profits. By using the rules here, you're going to make sure you're getting paid top dollar for your trade, and you're going to make sure that you can make money even if the stock goes nowhere. Now in Module 6, we're going to stack probability and reduce risk even more by the setup of the trade. You're going to make sure that your trade has that perfect combination of risk and reward. You're going to know which strike to sell. You're going to know which strike to buy for insurance and know it all from there. Great trades don't happen by accident. They happen because they are set up properly from the very beginning. Now that your trade's picked out, you're ready to place it. Before we can do that, we got to look at money management. You're going to learn in Module 7 how to have a plan in place ahead of time so you know when to exit the trade, not only to take profits, but to minimize loss as well. You're never going to be frozen like a deer in the headlights again. No matter what the market throws at you, you'll know how to react, which allows you to trade stress-free. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the game plan of placing the trade with your broker. We're going to break down the execution phase into simple, repeatable steps. That way you can commit those to muscle memory in no time. Now, we put everything you need into a checklist so you never miss a step. When someone's first starting out, it's always comforting to have that security blanket in place to make sure you did everything right. Plus, placing trades with your broker can be intimidating. So in addition to video walkthroughs of a lot of popular brokers like Fidelity and Thinkorswim and Interactive Brokers and Ally and E-Trade, we've got step-by-step directions for TD Ameritrade. No, it's not TD Ameritrade anymore. Now it's Schwab, the Thinkorswim platform. So before we talk about the price of the course, I want to make it even more low risk. I've been teaching this now for almost 8 years. I offer a 100% money back guarantee on the course. You can go through the course. If you're not satisfied we taught you how to profit using options, just let us know within a week of finishing the course and you get your money back. It's no risk. The only thing I ask you to do is to give it your best effort. You got to come to the classes, either live or watch the recordings. I don't care which one. Do the assignments, do the work. Because I know if you do, you're going to see the results. If you don't do the work, you won't be eligible for that refund. All you got to do is do the course. That's it. That's all you got to do. And you'll be eligible for a refund if you don't like it. The reason I have that refund policy like that is because I only want to attract people who are excited to jump in and do the work and get the results. So by kind of making the refund policy like that, I only attract those type of people who are serious. And we're teaching you a system that has, over the course of time, averaged about 3% per month. That's 36% per year on average. And remember, it doesn't take a lot of time to do this every week. I got an email from one of our prior attendees, Joe, who took the course. He said, Ron, I'm writing to thank you for teaching the options paycheck course. I took your class last fall and wanted you to know my results for the past 10 months. I keep a journal to document every trade, and so far I've profited on 239 trades out of the 350 I've taken, a 68% winning rate. I've profited over 100 grand in this time. What's more exciting is that since my knowledge and experience have grown in regards to taking really good risk-reward trades, I've profited over 50,000 in the last 6 weeks. My success rate has been 78% over my last 100 trades, and I only take trades with a 2-to-1 or better risk-reward. Thank you for teaching this simple but effective system. You know, if I asked Joe before I took the class, listen, I'll pay you 100 grand. All you got to do is pay me 2 grand. Do you think he would take that trade? Well, I'm going to be making you an offer here as well, as you're going to see in a second. Now, before I tell you any more about it, I want to point something out. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something where you should expect to become a millionaire in the next 24 hours. It's serious and requires some effort on your part. So if you can't commit to it, then don't do it. It's not for you. It's for people who take their investing seriously and who are willing to put in the time to learn the system. So if you're serious about this, you're ready to do the work and get the results, then the Paycheck course is perfect for you. It's step-by-step training to go from option basics to a full, complete income system. Just these training modules alone are worth the price of the course. But we've got some amazing bonuses for you as well. Our first bonus is we call the Mastery Package. Now, how the course works, it's a course that's going to be done over November and December. In November, you are going to learn the modules. We want you to learn 2 modules a week in November. Every week, we're going to do 2 mastery sessions. So the first week, we'll do a mastery session for module 1 and 2. The second week, 3 and 4. The third week, 5 and 6. And then the last week, 7 and 8. That way, you can watch the recordings of the actual modules. Then we get together live to discuss it. Answer any questions you have. Just a way to make sure that we're getting to you live to answer any questions. If you can't attend the live sessions, it's not a big deal. I record them. I post them to our university site. We also have an end of the week weekly Q&A wrap-up that I do on Friday. Again, just to give you enough time to kind of digest the information, come up with questions, and we can talk about it. Then we also have a private dedicated email. So you don't have to send your email to our support folks at VectorVest. You send them right to me. I and my Paycheck team answer those questions for you quick, and you're going right to somebody that knows exactly what the answer is. We're also going to give you access for November and December to the VectorVest and the Options Pro software. Now, are these required to do the course? No, but we're going to give you a test drive of what I think are some of the best tools in the industry to do this with. If after the course you want to keep them, we'll talk about prices afterwards. If you don't want to keep them, no big deal. Use your broker, continue to trade the paycheck system fine. Now, in the second month in December, this is our implementation month. We're going to give you live trading sessions, 2 a week, one for the S&P 500 and one for stocks. If you want to trade with me, place the same trades I'm doing. That's cool. No problem with that. Then we're going to have 2 more office hour sessions during the week. These are going to be a place where we can get together, talk about the trades we've done. If you found something that you want me to look at, great, I'll look at it with you. I even have an after hours session that for those of you that work, you might not be able to get into your computer during the day. I'll show you how to place trades at night for the next trading day. That way you can take advantage as well. So there's 12 total live sessions in December that are all geared to having you implement the system. You know, our past students said this is one of the best parts of the course. Watching that repetition really helped cement the concepts in the process. And then if you're worried that it might be too much, the SPX paycheck system is an option. We're going to include that. This can be done in as little as 15 minutes a week. You're trading one symbol on the S&P 500, one setup rule, one profit rule, and stop rule. Live trading sessions as well. It's simple, it's easy. My teammate Brian taught it to his 14-year-old daughter at the time, and she was able to do it. She took out her little notebook, and she wrote down all the rules, and she was able to do this. For many of my students, this is the only system that they use. Now, as a recap, with today's offer, you're going to get the complete options paycheck training program, which includes 8 training modules, videos, checklists, cheat sheets, quizzes, slides, everything. The mastery package, the implementation month, the SPX paycheck system. Total value of that's about $5,500. But here's the opportunity in front of you. I'm going to roll up my sleeves, work with a couple hundred people who are serious about generating income. So if you choose to be one of them, we're going to create an income system in your portfolio, even if you've never had success with options. We're going to do this. If you want to join me, have you take you by the hand, help you install this income system, then instead of that $5,500, the early bird price of the course is $1,295. Now, we do also have a 3 payment option. You can get started for $495 today and then 2 additional installments of $495. But I also have a special bonus. Since you've spent the last hour with me or so, here's what I want to do. If you order before the end of the live webinar, another 15 minutes or so, you can get the course for $995. That is the lowest price that we offer the course for to someone who's never taken it. So you're going to get the full course, 1 year of access to all the materials, 2 months, November, December of Options Pro and VectorVest for that $995. Just go to www.optionspaycheck.com, get yourself registered. And then you got to ask yourself, you know, how much is it going to cost you not to do this? How much money are you going to lose by learning by trial and error? How much profit are you going to miss out on? How much time and energy are you going to spend trying to do it on your own? And then ask yourself, how would things be different if you did it and it worked? You know, there's an old saying that the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, so you can be sitting under it now enjoying the shade. You know when the second best time is? It's today. It's not too late to begin preparing yourself for retirement. This can be one of those deciding days in your life. Is it going to be the day that you saw an opportunity and took action, or the day you let it pass by? Don't regret the decision. Don't miss this opportunity. It's low risk. I look forward to working with you in our class. So again, go to optionspaycheck.com. It's $995. Get registered today. Jump in at this opportunity. We're going to teach you over the next 2 months how to implement a system that's going to open you up for great opportunity in 24. Okay? Now, before we get into the official Q&A, I want to cover a couple more things. First and foremost, it is a live course, so we do have live classes. And when are the sessions? So we start the course technically in November, but October 31st is our welcome session. Okay? On November 1st and November 2nd, we have our first 2 mastery sessions. We talk about Module 1 and Module 2 on Wednesday and Thursday. And then we have the open Q&A on Friday. So the way this works is you are going to watch the modules on your own time. If you sign up for the course right now, the course opens up to you. You can go out there and start watching modules 1 and 2. You'll be prepared for next week. Okay? Now, as you can see through the month of November, we concentrate on 2 modules a week with that Q&A. If you can attend these live sessions, that's awesome. But if you can't, it's not a big deal. We record them for you, and we post them up on our university site. You can even send me an email and say, hey, Ron, I can't be at the mastery tonight, but can you answer this question for me in class? And I'll do it for you, even in the Q&A if you'd like. So again, if you can make these live sessions with us, great. If you can't, not a big deal. You can watch the recordings. Now in December, we're going to break into our live trading. On Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern time and then 2 p.m. Eastern time, we do our SPX and our stock trades. Again, if you can't watch those live, not a big deal. We record them for you. You can watch them after time. On Wednesday night at 4:30, we do our office hour session. On Friday at noon, we do another one. These are just sessions that are going to help you consistently and repeatedly do the process. Another one of our clients who took the course, Greg, said, prior to the course, I struggled with knowing how to protect myself when the market was moving away from me. I feared if I didn't fix it, I'd lose more of my portfolio than I can afford. After taking the paycheck system, I felt better prepared to trade and much more confident. In the first month, I made a net of $10,200 from my options income trading with 9 winners and 1 loser. I would absolutely recommend the course. It was well done, very educational and informative. It's an excellent educational opportunity that I'm thankful I took advantage of. Don't let fear hold you back. You'll make more in the first month than you pay to take the course. I was one of the fencers who didn't take this course for a long time when I saw it offered. I lost a lot by not taking the program sooner. I'm grateful and appreciative of the work that was put into making this training program available. Now, another question I get a lot is how much options experience do I need? One of the things that we do is we send a survey to all of our attendees after the course is over. And over the course of the last 7 years, 85% of them said you could be successful with little to no prior experience. Okay? You can do this. You might have to watch module 1 and module 2 a couple more times. You might have to ask us some questions. It's cool. That's what we're here for. But you can do it. Just like these folks. Cheryl, I've surpassed my expectations. I don't need the money back guarantee. I tripled my investment. Frank, after taking the course, I've already have a profit of $7,300. Hugh, we talked about. Cam, I've already made my initial investment back many times over. Jake, I finally found a method of making consistent winning trades with a high probability of success. So again, get yourself out there, $9.95, get signed up today. That special is going to be going while we are live. So if you go to optionspaycheck.com, you have 12 more minutes to take advantage of that $9.95. The price is going to go back to $12.95 after 12 minutes, and then it's going to go, and registration, by the way, closes next Tuesday. Take advantage of the special. All right, what I'm going to do now, we're going to break into kind of a formal Q&A. I'll have John come in there, and any questions that you asked in the background that weren't answered yet, we'll take care of them.
Hey, Ron, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent. Okay. First question. Well, actually, now that you're here on the site, do you want to show them how to register?
Absolutely. So all you got to do, click on the big button that says register today. Click right on that guy. And then click right here where it says buy now and save. That's going to be your buy now bonus. So left click. That's going to take you to our registration site. Now, if you are a current VectorVest subscriber, click on sign in and just sign in with your current VectorVest username and password. If you're not, just type in your first and last name, your email, and and a new password, and that'll get you to where you can sign up. So just right off of that link, click on register now, and then the buy now and save. And again, it's got 10 more minutes to go.
Excellent, Ron. We have 2 consecutive questions that are somewhat interrelated. Number 1, somebody who's not going to be available for all 2 months roughly that we have the session. So the first question, do they have to attend the live sessions? Second question, are the sessions recording? In other words, they're trying to figure out if they can still benefit from taking the course November, December session.
Right. Yeah, I think you still can. Normally we get about a 60% attendance rate when we do the live curriculum. That means if 100 people signed up for the course, 60 of them would do more of the live sessions, where 40 of them are just going to rely on the recordings. So we have all the material in place for you to be successful, even if you're not going to be in front of your computer. So I wouldn't worry about, if you're going to be away or you're not going to be able to take advantage of the live webinars. If that's a big deal to you personally, then you could certainly wait. But we have plenty of students who take this just mainly using the recordings. You can still email us. You can send us messages about, hey, Ron, can you show this in the mastery session? I'll record it. You'll be able to watch the questions being answered. So we have plenty of opportunity for you.
Excellent. Can you give us an idea of the time commitment per week, both before, meaning when they're taking the classes, and then after when they're have hopefully learned the material?
Sure. When you're learning the material, I want you to give yourself 3 to 4 hours a week. Now, you might come in a little bit less than that. Maybe you come in a little bit more than that. But give yourself about 3 to 4 hours a week to watch the material. Maybe attend a Q&A. If you can't attend the Q&A in the mastery, at least do watch the recording. Give yourself 3 to 4 hours. Now, as far as once you learn the system, how much time commitment do you need? Well, that's always going to be a little bit subjective. It's completely up to you. I gave you guys examples of the one guy who placed, 350 trades in 10 months. He's probably spending an hour a day doing that work. That's more time than I personally want to spend on it. I place about 150 trades a year. In that 150 trades, I spend probably, now it's a little bit different for me because I run a live coaching service. So I have 3 hours a week that I dedicate to trading with my coaching students. If I did not do the coaching, like when I'm away on vacation and I have, John and Todd take over my coaching class, I probably spend to do 150 trades a year, probably about 45 minutes to an hour a week. Now, I know the system like the back of my hand. Okay. You'll get there too because it's a mechanical system. So you can spend as little as 15 minutes a week if you just trade the S&P. You can spend an hour a week if you want to do 7 or 8 stock trades that go along with it. It's completely up to you how much you want to spend on it.
Sorry, I'd started to talk and I hadn't unmuted myself. Question. We had a question from earlier to kind of ballpark the year-to-date performance on your trading account with this.
I can't give you the exact number, and the reason why I can't give you the exact number is because what I use to actually give myself my analysis, I use a program called Wingman Tracker, which actually looks like this. This is Wingman Tracker. So what I do is I actually put all of my trades in this thing. So right now, I actually only have until August in here. I don't have September and October yet because there was when Schwab took over Thinkorswim, they broke the import option on this, so I can't update it any farther than this. But what you can see is I trade 100,000 in capital, so up to mid-August, I'm up around 24% for the year. My win rate's a little bit lower this year. The market's been a little bit volatile, so I'm only right under 60% of my win rate. But you can see my average winner is about 879 this year, a little bit up from my normal, and my average lose is about 955. So through August, that's kind of where I'm at. And I have made more money since then, by the way. So I only have till August in here because they just fixed the bug of importing all my trades from Thinkorswim. So that's kind of my up through August is where I'm at. Oh, you can see I started the year out with a really good 6% loss. That was a bummer. January was a shitty month. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Sometimes my trader's tongue gets a hold of me. I apologize for my language there.
Hey, Ron, you want to show them what it looks like
Sure.
in VectorVest University as far as the course content?
Yep, give me 1 second. All right, so when you sign up for the course, you're going to get access to our university site. You're going to find a list of classes. You're probably not going to have as many as I do because I work for VectorVest. But in that list, you're going to see something called the Options Paycheck Experience. All you got to do is click on the button that says Start Course. Mine says Continue because I've already done this. And that's going to load your paycheck course. Now, you're going to get access to this immediately. The first thing I would tell you to do, watch the welcome stuff. That's important. But the first thing I would tell you to do is go to your course curriculum checklist. It's a 6-page document. Print this out because this is just going to give you kind of a checklist as you go through the course. Okay? It's going to give you a checklist to where you can kind of go through each module and make sure that you are doing everything correctly. All right, so you can see module 4, for instance, you've done the snapshot, you've done the lesson, you've done the lesson 2. And then you can write any questions that you have in here for us for the mastery or for email. But the most important thing all the way at the bottom is your schedule for the next 2 months. These are all of the live sessions that we have. Print that out. That way you know the live schedule for the next 2 months. Underneath, you're going to see all of the modules. So I mentioned to you that I want you to watch the modules before you come to the mastery. Open up the recorded lessons. These are all of the lessons in the module. Okay? These will take you anywhere from 45 minutes to maybe an hour to do all of these lessons. Watch them as many times as you need, really. Under that, we've got some review questions. So we have a quiz that you can take that makes sure that you're learning and understanding what you're doing. Well, how do you know if you're right? Well, the quiz will tell you, but then we also have a video of us talking about the quiz. So you can see us walking through this with you. Every module has what's called an action item. We want you to go out there and start doing this. Whether you're using your broker software, like you can see right here, access the option chain in your broker's platform. Notice the differences. We want you to find delta in your option chain. We want you to go out there and start implementing this. We have an FAQ section for each module, frequently asked questions, and then you'll see our recordings for the mastery session. Now, if I open up the recording, you're going to see there's a video there from August 2nd. Obviously, that's from my last options class. After November 2nd, this will be rewritten for the one with your class. But we leave these older ones in there just in case you want to go through some of the modules and watch some of the mastery sessions that we did last. So all of the 8 modules are like that. And then also, we have the SPX bonus module that you can watch if you'd like. Some people do that right from the beginning. They start doing SPX trades right within a couple weeks of the course because it's so easy. We have all of our recordings from the Q&As. So like I said, if you open up week 1, you're going to see a recording there from August 4th. Well, that's my last class. Our first session together is going to be November 3rd. After that Friday, that'll be overwritten with the one from your class. But we leave all of these old ones in there. That way you can watch them if you want to. Our live trading sessions I did from my last curriculum. So my live trades from August and September all the way through. You get access to Options Pro for 2 months. So you get the tutorial videos if you want to use those. I've got broker help videos, opening bull puts, closing bull puts, all that kind of stuff from Thinkorswim and E-Trade and IAB and Ally and Fidelity. And then one of the important links is down here. We're going to email you 24 hours before the class a link to get to the live class. But I understand how that works sometimes, right? You don't always get the email link. It might go to clutter, it might go to spam. So if you're ever missing a link, just go right to the university site in the webinar links, and here's all the links that you're going to need. Just click on the link, and it'll take you right to that class. And then last but not least, resources. This is where you can download all of the slides that we use. So we use PowerPoint to do this. You can download all of the slides. You can download those and print those out. And then as you get later on into the modules, like Module 8 also has the checklist. We also have a position size checklist for you so you know how many contracts to trade. And then there's the bonus module for the S&P as well. There's even some click-by-click walkthroughs for Thinkorswim and a trade tracking spreadsheet. So that's the university site. And again, you're going to get access to that right away, and you can start using the system. You can start learning those modules 1 and 2. So just a quick reminder, you only got 38 seconds to get in there and get that buy now bonus.
Hey, Ron, as we give that 30 seconds left, does this work in any other market?
It does. Now, I will tell you, most of the options liquidity in the world is here in the US. So I have clients across the world, London, Australia, Canada. A lot of those trade the US options markets. However, if you trade in Canada, for instance, you're going to be able to find option trades in Canada that work for this. I'm not going to teach you something that's proprietary. I'm going to teach you something that you can absolutely use with the Canadian exchanges. Same with Australia, same with London. You might have less opportunities, but yes, the concepts I teach you can be used anywhere. Absolutely.
Excellent, Ron. It looks like not only did we cover all the questions, the timer ran out on us. Did you have any parting words of wisdom for them?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for spending the last 90 minutes with me. I really appreciate your time. I know time is valuable. So I hope I've opened your eyes and opened the door for you to really take advantage of creating a good income system. So for those of you that signed up, Thank you. I know there was a lot of you. I appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Get started on those first couple of modules. Send us questions via email. We'll see you next week, and we will go ahead and get this started implementing. So I want to thank all of you again for attending tonight. I appreciate it, and hope to see you all next week when we start the official beginning of the Options Paycheck experience. So good night, everybody, and thanks once again.